In this video, we will look at Breaking Silence by Janice Mirikitani. Janice Mirikitani is a third-generation Japanese-American poet, political activist, as well as dancer. Her parents immigrated from Hiroshima, and she was incarcerated at birth along with her family in Rover concentration camp in Arkansas during the period of Second World War. After the release from camp, the family shifted to Chicago and her parents got separated. 5-year-old Janice relocated to Petaluma after remarriage of her mother, and she recalls that she was sexually abused by her stepfather for nearly a decade. Throughout her works, Janice spoke against racism and enslavement of women as well as of poor people. She also exposed the horrors of war or the sufferings of the common people during the wartime. She wrote more about Asian American lives in America, and in the 1970s she served as the editor of several magazines with the intention of helping women artists and writers to publish their works. In 1980, she also edited Ayumi, a Japanese-American anthology which featured 4 generations of Japanese-American writers, poets, and graphic artists. She has also choreographed and produced more than 35 dance productions with social themes including Lonnie's Song, Who Among the Missing, etc. She joined the Glount Foundation in San Francisco in 1970s, and in 2000, Mirikitani was named the second poet laureate of the city of San Francisco. Her major works are Awake in the River, published in 1978, Shedding Silence, published in 1987, We the Dangerous, published in 1995, and Love Works, published in 2000. She, in 2013, with her husband Cecil Williams, co-authored Beyond the Possible, and her 5th collection of poems entitled Out of the Dust, New and Selected Poems was published in 2014. Her poem Breaking Silence is about the silence of the generations of Japanese American about their sufferings in America. And between 1942 and 1945, during the period of Second World War, a total of 10 concentration camps were opened with around 120,000 Japanese Americans being kept in internment in California, Arizona, Wyoming, Colorado, Utah, as well as Arkansas. And it happened after Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. She expresses through this poem the testimony of her mother before the Commission on Wartime Relocation and Internment of Japanese American Civilians in 1981. Breaking Silence focuses on the silence of the Japanese Americans throughout their life, even after years of torture in a foreign land. Through this poem, which is a testimony, her mother is testifying against the war crime injustices, and we can see that it incorporates dialogues between her mother and the Commissioner of Wartime Relocation, and she talks about the injustices during wartime and as well as that of racism. Her mother testifies only after 40 years of silence, and that is why she has titled it as Breaking Silence. And testimonies may take a long time, and breaking silence is a painful act. She continues, that is, from the silences in the glass caves of our ears, from the crippled tongue, they waited for the testimonies like a winter. And she says, we were told that silence was better. golden like our skin, useful like go quietly, easier like don't make waves, expedient like host stalls and deserts. So they were made to believe that silence was better because a testimony is something that reveals the torture, the pain, the sufferings, and it, in fact, is the frustrations of being in the internment camps that is being expressed by her mother. And now she admires her for doing this or for breaking this silence. She says, my mother, soft as tallow, words peeling from her like slivers of yellow flame. And her testimony is like a vat of boiling water surging through the coldest, bluest vein. That is, she's trying to explain what it means to give a kind of testimony like this because of the sufferings that they had, because of the intense pain that is there within this silence. Talking about that sufferings itself is like the testimony is like a vat of boiling water which comes out through this coldest, bluest vein. And now the poet looks at the past of her mother and she says that her mother had come to this land with a shovel and sickle rearing reed and rock and dead brush, that is, with a kind of effort, that is, with a kind of suffering, or when they moved to a new land. The being a member of a family who migrated to Japan from to America from Japan began their lives overcoming much troubles, and they had to wait for things to be clear, and they made their own garden, they tended soil, and they waited for each silent morning that gave them hopes. And then one day, as and when the Second World War started, and when Japan became a counter force against America, there came the announcement. All of a sudden, there is an announcement which takes them away from their garden or from their fields of flowers, mustard greens, and tomatoes. And the announcement is, take only what you can carry. That is the only announcement that they heard for the first time. And in fact, they were made to believe that their faces betrayed them because it's suggestive of the racism or how the color of their skin betrayed them. She says, our bodies were loud with yellow screaming flesh, and they were taken to the internment or concentration camps, and they were kept behind barbed wires. And now her mother says, she quotes from the testimony, Mr. Commissioner, it seems we were singled out. There were many, she's trying to tell that there were many others, Germans, Italians, there is some of whom were not even citizens of America. But it seems we were singled out. Why is it so? That is the question. It's because of, if Japan is against America, what does it mean to attack us is the question. It's the pain that that her mother was trying to talk about. She remembers the life of her mother before being sent to the camp. She says they worked hard under the sun and sweat, and it was their dreams that sharpened their plows, and their land was full of roses and sweet peas, and it made them happier till the dreading silence that came along with the announcement. And this announcement told, to be incarcerated for your own good, the sounds of her work bolted in barracks. Now their works are being bolted in barracks, and it was told that you are being incarcerated for your own good. So, and they are being completely silent. So what does this mean is what she is asking. And now when Mr. Commissioner is asking her mother to limit her testimony, and when he says the time is up, she asks, this commissioner, pride has kept my lips, pinned my nails, my rage faint. But I exhume my past to claim this time. That is, she's claiming her past so as to, she's breaking this silence so as to reclaim her past. And she says, my youth is buried in Rover. A bad chance goes visit Amache Gate. My knees haunts to lake. Words are better than tears, so I spill them. I kill this, the silence. So we can see that she's talking about the different concentration camps in Rover, in Tule Lake, and in all these places they have suffered so much so that now she realizes that words are better than tears. So, and that is why she says, I kill this, the silence. So killing the silence is an act through which she is coming to a kind of realization, or she has a self-realization which makes them understand their own power, or her own self. And now, by breaking this silence, she says that she could understand everything. Oh, everything is made visible. And she says, we see cracks and fissures in our soil. We speak of suicides and intimacies, and of burning humiliations and crimes by the government, of self-hate. Everything is being understood as she says, and of love that breaks through silences. And we are lightning and justice. So now she comes to understand about the lightning as well as justice and the injustices that they have to face. And now she says that there is revealing tears of war dead sons, red ashes of Hiroshima. She's thinking about her own native land, where, or Hiroshima, which in fact had been made a fragmented land by America. She says she's thinking about the jagged wounds from the barbed wire, and now in the end she is trying to tell that we must recognize ourselves at last. We are a rainforest of color and noise. We hear everything. We are unafraid. Our language is beautiful. So through this language, that is through the power of language, she says that we must recognize ourselves at last. It is not that we should keep quiet or we should keep silence, but instead of that, we should hear everything and we should talk about everything, even about the sufferings, about the things that we endured. And we are a rainforest of color and noise. With this beautiful lines, our language is beautiful. That is how she ends or concludes the poem. And we can see that this poem through this poem, the author Janice is trying to admire her mother for breaking silence, or she's trying to look at the power of silence that indeed has led to this kind of realization of her community as well as of the sufferings of the Japanese Americans. Thank you.